Hi folks, Barnaby Dixon here, and you're joining me on the journey of rebuilding my iconic Dabchick puppet after plastic degradation had its wicked way with him.
It sure as heck did.
This week I'll be joined by the incomparable Bobby Duke as we navigate some of the challenges this project has in store.
And we're navigating some of the financial ones already because your boy got a sponsor. We were supposed to get one of these thingies delivered to us, but we've been jet-setting and you couldn't pin us down. Fortunately, a thing called B-roll exists and we've been sent a bunch of it. Factor helps you avoid fast food and ordering in with no-nonsense delicious food that's ready quickly. Factor's chef-prepared meals take the guesswork out of eating well, so you never have to opt for something that isn't good for you. You get a thingy and you get one too. You take one too. No, put that back! Factor meals arrive pre-prepared and ready to eat in 2 minutes or less, even faster than ordering in. Meal plans offer variety with a rotating weekly menu of 34 plus meal options and 36 add-ons like smoothies and desserts and things like that. And whilst we ordered too late to enjoy our Factor meal, the person that we were staying with was able to enjoy it on our behalf. What did you think of the meal?
It was good.
She says it's good, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Factor 75 for sponsoring today's video. You can go to this link and get 50% off your first box.
So after the first print went well, I started printing the ×2 scale pieces. Now we've lost a little bit of detail, partially through the reverse effect of that balloon writing analogy I made in an earlier episode, but also in the scanning process itself. I'll explain a little bit about this. So if we imagine a cross-section of an original piece, the scanning process might turn it into something like this, a more rounded shape where the surface drops away from the original at points and rises away at other points. Now, the dropping of the surface can be addressed by adding material. It should be quite simple. I could use epoxy putty. It's soft and easy to work with. I'll call this an additive process. The rising of the surface, however, requires a different process where we remove material. Let's call this a subtractive process. Now, the subtractive process is trickier actually because that requires the removing of already cured material. It will require power tools. However, what if we were to remove the difficult precision aspect and simply grind the whole surface back? Then all of those precision-heavy aspects could be relegated to the additive process where the materials we're using are soft. However, to get from here to here requires a lot of grinding, and I don't know if my tools are up for the job. Thankfully, I know a man whose beefy tools might make easy work of this.
So what I'm doing is just kind of smoothing,
Yeah, that's great.
this out.
Yeah, perfect.
So I'm just kind of making it kind of uniform and getting the lumps and bumps.
Perfect.
Is that kind of what you're wanting?
Yeah, exactly. You got it. This piece actually demonstrates the point that I was making earlier. So these started out looking a lot more feather-like, and I intend to get them that way again. But I asked Bobby to grind them back to the point that they look almost like little shark teeth. This is because I want to use the epoxy putty to sculpt them back up and have a bit more accuracy and control when I'm modeling them. It's a bit of a gross analogy, but you know when people have very extensive dental work done, sometimes they grind the teeth down to a nub before putting the fake or replacement teeth over the top. I think Steve-O from Jackass had that done. So a similar process at play here, but we'll be making feathers, not Steve-O's teeth.
It's still a little lumpy, but
Oh, it's perfect.
I just took off high ridges. I know that's where your fingers go.
Yeah, that's
so I had
right.
to try to smooth that out just a tiny bit.
Yeah, it looks brilliant.
Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Thanks. At one point during our time with Bobby, we were able to wander down to the creek where he gets a lot of the rocks that he carves, and we filmed tiny frogs jumping in slow motion. I have to say I'm very fortunate to know Bobby and his family. They're some of the kindest people you will meet. Bobby's been a supporter of this channel for a really long time, and Nicole is just a delight. She even made me this mug with Dabchick on. So when I got home with the carved pieces, there was still a little bit of grinding to do in the form of these feathers here that I've marked out. Now, my tools are kind of noisy and inefficient, so to prevent my neighbors wanting to kill me, I did most of the grinding in the shower. punch myself in the nuts. After this process, I felt it could do with a little more definition, so I mixed up some milliput and color matched it to the piece. This isn't really necessary because when you scan it, it doesn't scan the color. But if you're wanting to look at it and assess it aesthetically, it's much easier if the color's more uniform. The piece that we're working now actually printed incorrectly. I didn't top it up with enough resin and it ran out midway through. That's why we're getting these flat surfaces here. Bobby very helpfully kind of sunk the drill bit in and created these keys. So I'm going to use these and build up those missing areas. Unfortunately, I ended up making this rear piece just a little too long, so I was able to cut out a segment and move the whole thing down just a bit. So after this reshaping and a little bit of grinding and smoothing, the piece looked really, really nice. As a quick reminder for why we are scaling up the designs and reworking them, check out these two heads. One of them is the original scan and the other one is one we've scaled up and added these details to. It's very clear which is which. Okay, so this is what we have currently. If you'd like to see this scanned, it's going to look wonderful, I can assure you, but we can't do that quite yet because we've got some mechanisms to add. So hit subscribe and notifications and you'll see that when I release it.